Hello, my name is Specialist Elijah Farmer. I will be leading y'all in today's brief. Today's brief is about military bearing and professionalism. I'll be going over some key points with that. The purpose of this is to inform you about the separate parts, what exactly is military bearing and what exactly is professionalism. And then we're going to go into how those interact with each other. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and start. This is an unclassified brief. So we're going to go ahead and begin. I have a slideshow. It's been provided with you if you want to go ahead and click through with me as I read through and describe some of these slides to you. So other than that, I'm going to go ahead and get on the first slide and we're going to start. So, military bearing and professionalism. What is it? What does it encompass? What is military bearing? Military bearing is something in which a person in the military, it's a way that they are. It's, how the public views them. People being at attention, parade rest, going and talking, the way that someone holds themselves. There's a good quote that describes what military bearing is. It's from the Army University Press. It's a website online. You can go ahead and look it up. Army Publishings, basically. So it's a long one, so I'm going to read it off of the screen. Military bearing is conducting oneself in a professional manner to bring credit upon oneself and the Army at all times. It is the ability to project a commanding presence and confidence, upholding standards and doing the hard right over the easy wrong in both good and bad circumstances, both on and off duty, simply acting the way soldiers and leaders are expected to act. Presenting a professional persona, military bearing comes from pride in oneself. It says military bearing comes from pride. You have to have pride in order to have military bearing. It goes hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. A soldier has to have pride in the work that he's doing in order to accomplish having the trait military bearing. Military bearing comes from pride in oneself. Pride of being a soldier, a leader, and in service to one's nation. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on. We're going to look into the traits of military bearing. We're going to see what makes military bearing tick. What makes a soldier acquire military bearing? What do you have to have? So firstly, a commanding presence. You have to be authoritative. You have to be able to project. You have to be able to portray what you need to in a timely manner. You have to get it done. You have to be able to lead others in certain tasks. Commanding presence. You have to, simply not look weak. Confidence. Confidence goes hand in hand with a commanding presence. You cannot have a commanding presence without having confidence. Same as you cannot have military bearing without having confidence, or you cannot have military bearing without having commanding presence. Every trait that you have that's listed here has to go in order to acquire military bearing. So confidence, being able to stand up straight in difficult circumstances, being able to do something like this, teach a class and not be unnerved, talking to a large group of people, things like that. Finally, we have upholding military standards, leadership, going through that, the Army values, upholding rank, rank structure, being able to, stand at attention for an officer or parade rest for a higher NCO, things like that. Just common courtesies. All right, let's go to the next one. So an example of military bearing. As you see here, we have a picture. If anyone knows what that picture is, go ahead and say it now. This is the tomb of the unknown soldier. It has been guarded for years and years, non-stop, through rain, through snow, through harsh sunlight. Doesn't matter. There's always been someone guarding this tomb. It's a symbol. It describes what the soldiers that we cannot bring home. This is one of the best examples we have in our military today to describe what military bearing is. Why? Why is that the best example that we have? Because the soldiers that guard that tomb are doing it non-stop through any weather. Through any weather. They're not speaking. They take a vow of silence while they do this. They are vigilant. Vigilant is holding up your duty. You're doing it to your fullest. 100% of their mind is on their duty. They are guarding that tomb to the best of their ability. Keeping rigid. Military presence and military structure is rigid. You have to make sure that you have that rigid mindset, that you are stuck on your goal and stuck on your task. Now, on the other side of the coin, what is professionalism? You might have thought already, wait, isn't military bearing and professionalism, aren't they like the same thing? Isn't military bearing just like the professionalism, isn't professionalism like an all-encompassing thing? Isn't military bearing just a branch off of professionalism? Personally, I think so. I think professionalism is all-encompassing. I think military, I'm gonna go back. I think military bearing, since we're technically still talking about military bearing, I think military bearing is a branch off of professionalism. I don't think that they are separate. I think that the same qualities that you have in military bearing are the same qualities that you would possess for professionalism. The only difference is that military bearing is strictly limited to the military, and professionalism is, well, in a professional standpoint. So we're going to go ahead and look into professionalism. What is professionalism? Professionalism is going out into the workforce, mainly as a civilian. It can be in military, as I said. It's all in the same. What Webster's Dictionary classifies professionalism as is the conduct or aim or qualities that characterize or mark a profession or a professional person. What does that mean? Well, we have certain traits that can help us better describe what that means. Firstly, looking sharp. Well-dressed, put together, correct regulations, going through maybe a business suit, a blazer, something that makes you look professional, clean cut, clean shaven, adhering to uniform rules, things like that. Communication skills. You have to be able to portray what you're saying in a timely and effective manner so that there's no room for misinterpretation. You have to be able to effectively reach your goal in the least amount of words possible. Intelligence and dependability. You don't want an idiot teaching something. You don't want someone that does not know what they're talking about coming up and giving a class. You want someone that's dependable. You want someone that's going to meet those time hacks that you put out and is able to effectively meet those, that you don't have to worry about. You want someone that you can give a task and let go and know that that's in good hands. An example of professionalism. What better example than the billionaire himself, Bill Gates? This man has done everything. Microsoft, now Xbox, things like that. This man, multi-million dollars, speaks all the time, does many, many TED Talks, things like that. A quote that he has is, "Success is a lousy teacher. It seduces smart people into thinking that they cannot lose." That's so true. Let me read that again. Success is a lousy teacher. It seduces smart people into thinking they cannot lose. That's a great quote. He is a perfect example of what professionalism is. He gets the job done. He's successful. He has other people underneath him. I'm sure he's made companies and companies and companies where he's able to find other professional leaders and leave them to a task. All right, to summarize, what did we talk about? We described what military bearing is. We described what professionalism is. We talked about how, at least in my point of view, I think professionalism is an all-encompassing viewpoint, and that military bearing is a branch of professionalism. Now, there could be other ways to say it. You could say, wait, I don't really think that. I think that they're two separate entities entirely, and that military bearing is a structured way of rigid communication and orders and completing a mission, while professionalism is a loose, kind of candid way of completing a mission, which can be true. Everyone has their opinion. But my thought is that they're one part of the same whole, the same coin, two sides of the same coin. All right, do we have any questions at this time?